Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 145 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied as usual by co-host Nick and producer Vince. This is Sunday, February 15th. Is that correct?
It is.
Yes,
the day after Valentine's Day.
The day after Valentine's Day, and it's Olympics all day, all night, isn't it, guys?
Absolutely.
There's nothing else besides the NBA All-Star game. That was just terrible.
Well, for hockey fans, thank God for the Olympics at least.
Yeah, exactly.
And for us, who talk about the Olympics and have drafts on the Olympics.
And we kind of have a lot to cover today, actually. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's been some drama.
There's been some drama.
Well, Group B is drunk.
Have you been watching soap operas again, Nick?
Well, I don't know. There was a major trade last week that we didn't speak about right before the Olympics.
That's because we were drunk.
That could be because we were drunk, yeah. I mean, I have a green tea here with me tonight because I can't handle anything else.
Nick spends an hour outside and has to have green tea to recuperate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we brought our kids skating in our homemade backyard rink today, backyard of Vince's house, and kids realized very quickly that we are not professional ice rink makers because there was some jagged edges there was some bumps, there was a lot of snow.
It does not feel the same as when they're in the arena, that's for sure.
Definitely. I'm going to apologize right off the bat. I noticed that for people on YouTube, I might be actually frozen on my screen. I guess I'm taking over for co-host Junior's normal case scenario today. But as long as my audio is still good, and guys, please let me know if the audio isn't good. At least I'll know what to do from there.
Audio is good.
If the audio is good, then let's keep going because we do have a lot to cover today. And according to our YouTube stats. So I want to take a moment here to kind of tell all our listeners, according to our YouTube stats, more than 66% of our viewers are not actually following us on YouTube. If you listen to our show, please take a moment. Just click on that follow button. It makes a big difference for us. You know, we do try to provide this show for free. But with you clicking on that follow button, it's actually a huge bonus for us. And it only takes a second of your time, and it kind of promotes the show a lot with the algorithms of YouTube. So please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that follow button if you will. If you want to click on that little bell, it's going to tell you when our episodes are up and live. So you can follow us on Instagram, X, and TikTok as well. Junior is the king of TikTok. My understanding is that he does dances as well.
Yeah.
Some songs.
You got to pay for that, though.
Oh, that's the OnlyFans page. But anyways.
Just like we're 4 subscribers away from 200, and we're going to up the ante. Instead of Nick streaking around the block, Nick is going to put his skates on and do a lap around the homemade ice rink naked.
Yeah, that's going to make me fall all over the place. Absolutely.
Nick's going to get stuck to the ice.
my butt cheeks are going to be frozen in the ice, that's for sure. Guys, are we ready for the Odd Man Rush? Because this is going to be a fun one today.
Go.
All right, boys and girls, I am the host of the Odd Man Rush, and I just got told by my wife to mute my mic every time I cough. So it seems like my
Nice. I'm
wife
your wife.
talks. Yeah, so no, my wife just told me, right, like sitting right in front of me, and she told me. So I'm like, seems like she talks to Nick, and Nick tells her to tell me to mute my mic when I cough. And now she just decides that she's gonna start talking while we're on the podcast. She just wants to be everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Good for
Oh
her.
boy.
Good for
All right.
Tanya.
Welcome to the
She
show,
is.
Tanya. At this point, you're one of us.
Yeah, at
Well,
this point
she's
she's one.
Superwoman. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
saw the Instagram
yeah.
from.
The Instagram. Yeah.
She
If
is
only, my
Superwoman. So
friends. Yeah, if only. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Odd Man Rush. We take news, notes, and trends of the NHL or the Olympics and turn them into 30-second takes, which usually takes 3 minutes. And usually, when Nick and Junior do it, it's a little longer. But I think they might actually keep it clean and keep it short this time. So we'll see.
no chance.
Uh,
No
uh,
chance in hell.
the segment's sponsored by Sportira. You can visit the website www.sportira.com for all your apparel and team uniform needs. Follow them on Instagram as well at sportira.apparel. All right, so we spoke about this for a bit in the introduction. So there was a trade before the Olympics. It was a big trade. So Panarin got traded to LA for Liam Greentree and a conditional third round pick in 2026. If the Kings win one playoff round this season, the pick will become a second round pick. If the Los Angeles Kings win two playoff rounds, New York will also receive a fourth round pick in 2028's NHL draft. And after that, Panarin also signed a 2-year contract extension of $11 million per year. So, Nick, let's start with
Did you
you.
say Panarin or
Panarin.
did you say Matt Rempe? I don't know. Based off that return, I'm a bit confused.
Oh, so Junior wants to start already off with the return. So, okay, so okay. There's one thing that the audience needs to know is that Panarin did have a no trade clause, and his teams were very basically limited to LA. That basically is what came to down to it. So I mean, LA knew it. So LA isn't gonna give them gold when they know they can get it for Kaka. So basically, that's what they did. So Nick, I'm gonna start with you. Tell me, Nick, tell me what you think of this trade. We listen. We all know the return for Panarin is not very good, but what does this do for Panarin? What does this do for LA and the Rangers? What like are they in a? Are we looking at a full rebuild here, or are we still looking for them to retool this?
So I want to start off by saying I think that this should be our quiz question of the day for our listeners. Did
Ooh.
New York get enough return for Panarin considering the situation? All right. So I want to put that out there. I want to be clear that we are well aware that he had a no trade clause. Still, was this enough return? And I think we should make that the question of the day. What do you guys think?
I'm down.
Sure, go
I
ahead.
think I think we need to start doing questions of the day on the regular here because we get questions from our listeners. Um, but sometimes we should be asking the questions as well, right? I want to see what my listeners' opinions are on this. Um, Having said that, Liam Greentree is a good prospect. He's not a bad prospect, so we shouldn't just um, push him to the side. For the caliber of Panarin, you expect more. You expect at least a first. You expect at least a little more than Greentree coming out. And if it turns into a second round pick and a fourth, I mean, that helps a little bit. But Panarin literally signed a 2-year extension moments after he got traded. So with this coming with an extension, it kind of felt like should have been a higher return. Um, I'm very curious, and I'm gonna ask Junior here, but I'm very curious. What does this mean for Byfield? And or what does this mean for other players like Kopitar? Like who's Panarin going to be playing with? Why is this fantasy relevant?
If you're LA, you have no choice to pair him with Byfield. You have to see if he can get something out of Byfield that no one else was able to unlock consistently. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put. I mean, it depends. Like now with the Fiala injury, it opens up a whole other can of worms because that's a big loss, right? That's like a 70-point player, 60-point player you just
That's the
lost.
next topic.
So no, but like that makes a difference because if Fiala was playing with Byfield and now he's not, who's Byfield playing with? Kuzmenko and what? Or like Kopitar has Moore and Armia as his line mates. Kempe's with Laferriere and Perry. Like in a perfect world, you're putting Kopitar, Kempe, and Panarin on the same line, and you're hoping that that one line dominates every time they're on the ice and propels them through. But personally, their focus needs to be on Byfield, and I think Panarin could unlock something in Byfield, and that's what I would attempt first, if they have the patience to do so.
Well, they don't have a playmaker to the caliber of Panarin on this team ever, right? They haven't had that. They've had some goal scorers, like you mentioned. There's Fiala, takes a ton of shots. This guy. There's Kempe, right? Takes a ton of shots, but there's no real playmaking player to play with Byfield, and Byfield himself was not a playmaker. So for me, it feels that Panarin does have a very big opportunity here to unlock something in Byfield. And let's not forget, Byfield's only 23 years old. He's not done yet. His development is not done. There's still a step forward that he could take. So this might be a big boon for Byfield moving forward.
Even for
Yeah, no,
Kempe on the power play, also.
Yeah.
LA is a team that needed offense, and I think Panarin can bring them that. And they didn't lose much when it comes to acquiring Panarin. So I think at the end of the day, LA won this trade. LA is right now 3 points behind Anaheim for the wild card, 4 points behind Utah, who have a game more than them. So they are in playoff mode right now. So I mean, Panarin. If you want to get anybody, it's a player like Panarin to put you over that hump and bring it to that playoffs. But it'll be interesting to see who he unlocks. I mean, when he played with Zibanejad, he did wonderful things with Zibanejad in New York also. So it'll be interesting. It'll be something to watch. Uh, but unfortunately, there is some bad news that came out of the Olympics and with the LA Kings already. Fiala is out for the season after he suffered what appeared to be a broken leg. I mean, it was Wilson, but everybody, in my opinion, and what I'm reading from everybody on Twitter or X, this was just he caught an edge in the ice, and Wilson was coming for a body check. Like it wasn't, there was no malicious attempt at this part. But how big of a loss is Fiala to LA right now, Junior? Because this is a team that was already suffering offensively. They added Panarin, but now you're losing Fiala. So with the loss of Fiala now, is there another move that's coming in for LA?
I think there has to be if their goal is to make the playoffs, there has to be another move. I mean, they were already depleted. They already had holes in their lineup, which is why they went to get Panarin. And taking out a Fiala, who's a top sixer, just brings you back to square one, right? You're still missing something. So yeah, it's definitely a huge blow. And look, Kevin Fiala, not that he's like a superstar, but he still had 18 goals, 22 assists, 40 points in 56 games. He was pacing for 59 points, but it's still something. It's better than anything else they have. They have no prospect pool or guys that are on the verge of making the team. Turcotte hasn't developed to who they expected him to be. So they need to do something if they want to fill that void. If they stay status quo, this team is definitely not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
there was a rumor that they were trying to get Trocheck and Panarin, but they couldn't make that work. Trocheck would be a nice fit here as a number two center.
yeah, I was gonna just mention that definitely looking at their center depth chart doesn't look great. It just simply does not look great. Like they got rid of Dano. I mean, it was time to go, I guess, for Dano. But Byfield and Kopitar are your top two centers, and then it kind of trails off after that. They really need somebody like Turcotte to pick it up. Um, like who could replace Fiala? I think it's very difficult to replace Fiala, who was playing second line minutes. Uh, Maybe Kuzmenko, but Kuzmenko really needs to be a lot more consistent. He hasn't been a consistent player for LA, and he hasn't been a consistent NHLer. Let's be honest, right? Um, So there's definitely another move that needs to be done for LA, especially now that you went in on Panarin. You gotta keep going in. I don't think you put your chips on the table and then you pull them back, right?
Mm.
So I really do feel like there's somebody that they need to go out and get.
They have their first and two second round picks this year still available as assets.
Yeah,
And once they put Fiala on LTR, they'll have about 15 to 16 million dollars of cap space. So
exactly.
the room is there for them to make a move. The problem is there a player out there that will help them? And
I
right
have a
now,
suggestion. I'm curious to know if you guys what you guys think. This is a
go ahead.
team that is missing depth, right? Kopitar, it's his last year, so there's going to be a huge hole down the middle. What's scaring other teams from acquiring this player is the term on his contract. But wouldn't a Nazem Kadri fit well with the LA Kings here?
Yeah,
Yes.
but yes, but now you're not playing Byfield down the middle anymore. Now you're playing Byfield on the wing,
For this year, but next year he's your number two center.
unless they re-sign Kopitar, or did the
No, he's
Kopitar decide?
retiring.
No,
Oh, he's
he's
retiring.
already mentioned that he's retiring. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
Kadri's
another player.
35 and he has 4 years left.
I'll
No,
throw
yeah,
you another
exactly.
player.
That's the scary part with Kadri. It's his contract that's scaring people away.
I'm not sure how viable this is. What if they go out and get a Robert Thomas?
I don't think they have the assets.
They don't have the assets. Yeah, I believe in. Well, I'm with Junior there, because with when what they're asking for Robert Thomas is like a high blue chip elite prospect, which LA does not have, unless you give him Byfield, which is basically your. It makes no sense. So Robert Thomas would be anybody's dream. The
Yeah.
problem
Yeah.
is how many teams have the assets to trade for him, and that's the biggest question right now.
I think it was Frank Saravalli who said from Daily Faceoff that said they've reached a point now where the asking price for St. Louis is astronomical. So unless that goes down, he doesn't expect anybody to be traded from St. Louis,
Mm.
Kyrou or Thomas.
Yeah, even yeah, exactly. Like St. Louis is not going to give these young guys away. That's for sure.
That's it.
So
They
they have
need, nor
nothing to
should they,
lose.
right?
No, exactly.
No, you're right.
All right. So the next one we'll go. We'll talk about a player back home who's. It seems every time he puts his country's jersey on, it's like him putting a Superman suit and becomes this beast on the ice. Slafkovsky. I mean, he's just turning around this Olympics with Slovakia.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I got it. With Slovakia, I mean, we've seen this. This is the reason he went first overall was because of the international tournament and how he played in it when he was 18. So Nick, what can you tell me? Like, how impressed are you with Slafkovsky? I mean, we saw Slafkovsky take a step this year, especially when he got paired with Andemidov's line. So, what do you see now? Do you see him playing even better than he's been playing with Montreal now, or is it just a continuation of how he was playing with Montreal?
So a lot of the media, you could tell who watches games and who doesn't, because they seem shocked that Slafkovsky is doing this in the Olympics. He's been doing this all year so far with Montreal, especially the last 20 or so games with Montreal. He has been absolutely on fire on Demidov's line, and he's been the play driver. So we've mentioned this multiple times already on the podcast. I'm not here to rehash everything again, but it's just funny how all of a sudden on a bigger stage with not as many games, maybe people are noticing him more. Slavkovsky has arrived, and just in time for me to have traded him away at the beginning of the season in one of my pools. So you know that
Should
it
have
was
known.
happening, right? Should have known it was happening. He has arrived. He is playing great hockey for Montreal and for Slovakia. He's kind of showing that, you know what, maybe he did deserve to be a very high draft pick in that draft year, and probably the best. We'll see. Still, there's still some time there. Um, but also, what I wanted to mention is that um, he got a nose for the net. He has a nose for the net. He's been going. He's been shooting a lot more. He's been creating a lot more. So it's looking really really good for him. Slovakia doesn't have much. They have Dvorsky, who's another prospect, 20 years old, and they have Slafkovsky at 21. And I remember the days when Halak was eliminated from the Slovakian team, or it was the last loss that Slovakia had, and he was crying because he said there's nobody coming back in those days. There's nobody coming to save Slovakian hockey. And lo and behold, now there's a couple of young guns. There's a few more players coming up for Slovakia, and they finished third in the division. It's a boon for Slovakia for
No,
sure.
they won the division.
Did they? I'm sorry. Did they win?
They
I thought
won the
they
Yeah, they
division.
didn't.
won the
They're
division.
they're the
Yeah.
number 3 seed.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry, they're the number 3 seed. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the preliminaries, they finished third. That's
So
insane.
what's impressive about Slafkovsky is he was on a line with Caulfield and Suzuki, and he did extremely well as a complement role. Then he went on a line with Demidov and Kapanen, pretty much being the vet on that line at what, 20, how old is he? 24 years old? 22 years old?
Who? Slavkowski?
Yeah,
He
22.
is not even 22 yet.
Wow.
Mm.
And
He's
and
21.
he took those guys under his wing and started to dominate. Then he goes to the Olympics where he already had a track record of doing well against non-NHLers, I think at the time. And he's going up against Sweden, against Finland, full NHL teams, by the way, full NHL caliber players on those teams, and he's dominating when he's on the ice and he's producing. He's third in the Olympics with Crosby at 6 points. So it's really impressive. In cap leagues, if you have any chance whatsoever to take advantage of a GM who's still not sold on him at $7.6 million for the next eternity, Slafkovsky is a gem to have at left wing.
Listen, he's turning heads, and he's. You know how we were saying that as a number one, first overall, there's always that cloud that hangs over you. I think he's starting to make that cloud go away slowly, slowly if he keeps up doing what he's doing. So,
We
well,
said it last time, just missing consistency. If he does
yeah,
that, man, then
exactly.
he's set.
And like Nick said, he's young. They're 22 years old. That's so young as a hockey player. It's unbelievable. Okay, so we're sticking with the Olympics here. Like I've enjoyed the hockey of the Olympics. I enjoy that NHL players are there. I think it just makes the hockey so much better, and sometimes it just you when you see some teams play, you just make it seem like it's a video game you're playing with all the big names on the same lines. But in Group B, the shenanigans that are happening. Like we went in saying this group, we knew it was going to be Sweden, Finland, and whoever third was going to be Slovakia or whatever. But right now, Slovakia beats Finland. Finland beats Sweden. Sweden beats Slovakia. Slovakia earns the first place with a late goal in a loss versus Sweden. I mean, there's drama in this group. Is this what we would call a group of death, like the World Cup, Junior?
The group with Slovaks, Sweden, and Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That was the group that was going to turn the most heads. Canada, we were all expecting them to be dominant, and they are. The U.S. was also expected to dominate that group, and they did. And what's scary a little bit about the U.S. is that they still haven't played their best hockey. So that's a little bit worrisome for the U.S. But the way it works out, I don't know. Sorry, I was just trying to look for it as you were talking. Did you mention?
Everybody makes it.
Yeah, pretty much everybody makes it. So now, U.S. being the second seed, if Sweden beats Latvia, then U.S. has to go through Sweden, or Sweden has to go through U.S. However you want to see it in the quarterfinals. But Canada plays the winner of Czech and Denmark. It's look, in a perfect world, it's going to be a Canada-U.S. final. I mean, I think that's what everybody wants to see. I think they've been the two most complete teams so far this tournament, and that would make for one of the greatest finals in a really long time.
Nick?
Not much to add there. I mean, I'm actually very impressed so far with Slovakia and some of these other teams as well. I thought Finland had a great game and then a bad game, and it's been all over the place, right? Um, One team that really I don't understand what's going on is the next team we're going to talk about. So I'll let you bring us there, Vince.
Do you guys want to know
Ah,
what the matchups look like on Tuesday?
you have them, Duke. I'm
Yeah.
trying. Yeah, go.
So Tuesday it's Germany versus France, Switzerland versus Italy, Czech Republic versus Denmark, Sweden versus Latvia. This is Tuesday, February 17th. And then on Wednesday, so back to back for the winners. Slovakia plays the winner of Germany, France. Canada plays the winner of Czech and Denmark. Finland plays the winner of Switzerland and Italy. US plays the winner of Sweden and Latvia. So there's no reseeding until the semifinal. So once you hit the semifinal, then it's from best ranked to worst ranked. They
Hmm.
they they go by seeding. For now, it's still a bracket. So yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
Well, I mean, we're all talking about Sweden trying to pull the upset with that could pull the upset versus USA, but I mean, Sweden is more shambles than most teams in this tournament. I mean, Anderson, Lindholm scratched for Sweden. Markstrom continues to be a bad goalie. I mean, when Gustafsson is back there, he's not better. Wallstead, Hampus Lehom, Johansson were not dressed. Forsberg was dressed as a 13th forward, and another player, Swedish player who wasn't in the NHL, was dressed higher than Forsberg. I mean, is this like little mind games the coach is playing with the team? Is this the coach trying to get the most chemistry possible with this team? Like it's a bit bizarre on what's going on with Sweden, but it can the key with this tournament is that everybody makes it to the next round. No matter where you finished, you were making it to the next round. So are we looking at now that they're trying to get all their eggs in one basket so they can all go together? Nick?
I have no idea what's going on with this team. Like to me, it kind of feels like they're playing favorites somehow. I'm not really sure because I thought everybody on this team was already NHLers, right? But then you're kind of scratching some people. Like, in what world does Philip Forsberg on Wednesday's games? He wasn't,
Hmm.
but on Wednesday's games, Philip Forsberg is your 13th forward, and then he ends up playing like 2 minutes in a
Yeah, less than
following
two
game.
minutes.
Like, is this guy not one of your best goal scorers? I mean, I know you have Campaign, Nylander, Raymond, but it's Philip freaking Forsberg. This guy is a power forward, goes in front of the net. He does things that other people don't. Um, so I thought it was really weird some of the decision making that they had going on. Um, you know, I expected a lot more from Sweden, as you guys know, because I picked them to actually go to the finals, and there's still a chance.
Yeah.
I'm not out of that, right? Um, but Markstrom has kind of been leaky. He's letting a lot of weak ones through. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on here. Um, I think I need to have a talk with that coach, because he's making me look bad on this podcast.
I just want to
Junior?
clarify something because I know you guys are talking a lot about Markstrom, but Gustafsson's the one who started two games. He
Yeah.
has a win and a loss, 889 save percentage and 255 goals against. Not that Markstrom has been much better, but in his one game he did win. He has a 302 goals against average and a 906 save percentage. So he allowed 3 goals on 32 shots. But regardless, these are both two guys that are expected to be much better, and they're both struggling for a team that's stacked with, what I called a stingy team to play against. That they didn't give you much, and here they are giving too much to opponents, right? So, yeah, very very puzzling to see what's happening with Forsberg. Like, if it is a personal thing, then why even put him on the team? You know what I mean? At that point, just save yourself the embarrassment and don't even put him on the team. You're going to deal with the same amount of criticism anyway. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. Forsberg today did practice with Pedersen, and he was on the third line with Marcus Johansson, who was a healthy scratch on the first game. But anyways, look, Sweden hasn't played their best game yet. In fact, they played far from their best game. They haven't even can't come close to what we know they're capable of. And if they make it to a game against the U.S., that's going to be must watch TV.
Okay, so speaking about the US, let's keep it with the US. There's a few things that's
Sorry,
happening with the
one
US.
more
Yeah.
thing. Nylander hasn't been practicing, but he's been playing. And a lot of people out of Toronto are saying, just send him home, send him home, because they don't want him to come back injured. But that is definitely something to keep an eye on, Nylander's health after
Oh,
the pick.
if Nylander goes home injured, I think the staff in the Leafs will be happy with that. 'Cause then they have a reason to tank and just try to get top 5 pick for next year. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. But talking about the U.S., I mean, the U.S. I'm not gonna say I've been extraordinarily impressive, but they've had no trouble winning their games, and they've been getting scoring from everywhere. But the one player who's getting a lot of notice is Brady Tkachuk, and a lot of people are saying like this is just Brady Tkachuk is Brady Tkachuk is like captain material. Like he comes in there and he's ready for this moment. He's ready for the playoffs. He's a menace to play. He acts like a captain. Like I know a lot of people when Ottawa named him captain were asking themselves why. But I think he's making a case right now that he's born. He's meant for these big occasions. What have you guys thought about Brady Kachuk's play so far for the U.S.? Nick, we're gonna go with you first.
I mean, he's been a menace, like you said. He's been on fire. Well, 2 games played, according to this, 2 goals. Um, the way they count things in the Olympics is a little bit different, so I don't know if I don't have like all the stats in front of me,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
But it's not. They're saying it's not
He's
stats
got
wise.
three
Where
points in 3 games,
yeah,
two
you're not
goals,
gonna
one
see him.
assist.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna see him rip apart the stat sheet. But when he's on the ice, you know he's on the ice. Like that's the biggest thing that people are coming out of this with, is
Yeah,
that
so like I was reading a bit where they were talking about Brady Tkachuk should have been captain, right? Because he leads by example, whereas others kind of don't. Um, and yeah, right. Yes,
Others.
others. I'm saying Matthews, but again, I'm just going off of what I've been reading in Twitter, the Twitter's verse. They've basically been saying like Brady's out there, he's fighting for every inch of the ice, he's hitting, he's being in everybody's face, and Matthews is complaining to the referees at some point. But Matthews has picked it up. Like he's still putting up points. It's just I don't know if it's really like is that leadership material? Anyways, that's a question for another day. But I'm sure Leafs fans are gonna have a few things to say about Matthews hit and his leadership.
And they did on a post we did questioning his captaincy with the US actually on TikTok. If you go look at the comments, some not so happy. I'm not even sure if they're American, but Leafs fans, I guess. The thing with Brady Kachuk is when he knows he's on a good team like the Americans, he doesn't let the emotions get the best of him. I find the difference between when he's with Ottawa and when he's with the US is that with Ottawa, as captain, in big games and things don't start going his way, his emotions get the best of him and he lashes out and he's just looking to start something all the time. Not necessarily the right time. But with the US, man, he's been their heart and soul. He's been the only guy that, despite the opponent, has been playing like it's a gold medal game. And credit to him, it's very impressive. I have to say, I'm really impressed with him and his brother too. Is actually that whole line, and I'm sure we'll get to the rest of that line
but
soon.
the big thing with the biggest difference with him playing with US and him playing with Ottawa is in the US with the US team they don't need him to be on the score sheet. In Ottawa they need him to be on the score sheet. If he's not on the score sheet, that team is not going anywhere. So that's the problem. Is right now in the US for him it's easy to be a leader because he just has to be that energizer bunny on the ice. He doesn't need to score that goal, give the assist and stuff like that. When it comes with Ottawa, unfortunately the talent is not the same. So he does, and that's why I think he has a difficulty of
Trying to
he has
manage both.
try and manage both. And like you said, his emotions sometimes push him more towards another one than someone else. Oh well, Nick didn't like my comment, so he just got off
But
camera.
you
Look
know
at him.
what? He's actually on the first line. He's on the line with Jack Eichel and Matthew Tkachuk. So he's kind of expected to do a little bit of both. When the offense is not there, he's
When the offense is
managing
not there,
it well.
yes,
He's
exactly.
contributing in different ways, which is he's a +5. So it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
So staying with the U.S., this was supposed to be our question of the day, but Nick decided to put another question of the day. So
That was just a whatever.
Tentative.
Tentative,
well, we
yes.
could ask it too.
Thanks, Nick.
So this conversation has been going on X, on everywhere, on the TV. Um, So I'll ask you guys this: has Eichel's performance in the Olympics convinced you he is better than Austin Matthews? Uh, I'll go with Junior first.
My answer was a lot more. I was a lot more confident in my answer before today's game where Matthews went off, but I just think, I just think, I think that I don't think that I don't think that I know that I think that I don't know.
Wow, we're woodchuck, chuck, chuck, woodchuck, woodchuck.
It's look, the one thing's for sure is that Jack Eichel is legit. Jack Eichel, the more I watch him play, the more he's a top 10 talent in the league. And if you're asking me today in a redraft if I'm taking Jack Eichel over Austin Matthews, I don't know.
It's close.
It's close.
It's
It's
close.
close.
You
It's
guys are
close because
nuts.
Matthews, I know Matthews can score 60. I don't know
But
Eichel can score 60. The problem with Matthews is that he can score 60 just like he could maybe just get 80
nah,
points in a season. But
Nick, I'll make you go first, Nick. But I think this
Well,
is
don't forget, right?
atrocious.
Eichel has overcome a major injury and had a lot of time off recovering from that injury before he came back to be what he is today, right? We're talking about his days in Buffalo, um, possible surgery, possible this, possible that. He wanted the surgery. Buffalo didn't want to give it to him. Like, that wasn't that long ago. And he's turned into a Stanley Cup champion, right? With Vegas. He is consistent, a reliable player, top line player for the Golden Knights, and to the point where teammates like Jack Hughes are raving about him in the media during this Olympics, saying that this is a guy we look to for a lot of production, and he carries a heavy burden with the Golden Knights, and it's the same role for him here. To produce and lead our team, and I kind of feel like he is that leader type. Um, is he better with Math than Matthews? It's very difficult to say. One thing I'll say is that Matthews has the possibility of scoring 69 goals or whatever, right? Um, like, we're talking about a generational goal scorer. He hasn't been as good recently in the last couple of years, and that's why I think that what have you done for me lately? Well, Eichel has been maybe more consistent the last couple of years, and that's why the question is coming up. Um, but the upside on Matthews is probably still higher. It's just that Eichel has been so freaking consistent that it's kind of hard to argue, right?
But Nick, this is the problem. The problem is because Eichel has been consistent. Matthew skyrocketed to like the conversation of being a top three player in his career at one point. And that now people are expecting that because it's not, to me, it's not even close. You take Austin Matthews over Jack Eichel every day of the week. Like there's not even a comparison. Like I'm gonna give you stats. Games played: Eichel 666, Matthews 680. So games played are almost even. Goals: Eichel 260, Austin 427 goals. Assists: Eichel 416, Matthews 348. Points: Eichel 676, Matthews 775. 100 points more with only 14 games played more than Eichel. Plus minus: Matthews 155, Eichel 14. We're gonna abolish that because Eichel played for Buffalo for a lot of those years where there was a lot of minus points. Power play goals: Matthews 108, Eichel 62. Game winning goals: Matthews 66, Eichel 54. I mean, if you look at the awards, okay, championships, which is, we can say, the most important one, Eichel won. Hart trophies, Matthews won. Rocket Richards, Matthews 3. AS NHL award, Matthews 2. I mean, I think Matthews is getting way too much of a bad beat over here because I
I
understand
don't
they
think
have.
it's a bad
No,
beat.
I
No
don't think
one's
you're
saying that
you're
he's
fair right now.
dropped dramatically. I
Hold
think
on,
they're
hold
just
on.
saying that Eichel has leaped. But
We're talking about two very different things because Vince, you're talking to me about the last whatever it is, 9 years, 10 years, right? Totals. Whereas I don't know if that's really fair. You're not comparing apples to apples anymore because Matthews always had Marner,
Oh man, you
Nylander.
took my freaking rant
Uh,
away from me.
whereas Eichel had what in Buffalo? Those first 6 years had
Yeah,
what?
he had
6
Reinhardt.
years in Buffalo. No, no, no. You can't. You're talking to me about 6 years in Buffalo. The guy had nothing around him. So yes, I could see the fact that, like I said before, Matthews has almost double the amount of goals or whatever. But Eichel has also played for shit teams for the longest time and had a major injury where he there was thoughts that he might actually retire. Right? Like you can't compare. In the last 2 years, that's what I'm looking at now, or the last 3 years that I'm looking at now. It's a lot closer than it was back then. That's all I'm saying.
Look, there's a caveat. There's an X factor. Nick mentioned it, and I'm gonna stick by it. In the 1 year, Auston Matthews does not have Mitch Marner. He went from 95 point pace, 108 point pace to a 77 point pace. Eichel, in the first year that Mitch Marner joined his team, is on pace for a career high 112 points. It might be a coincidence, it might not, but the reality is, without Marner, Matthews looks like he's a different player.
It's also a
And,
small
and by
sample
the way,
size.
I'm saying that knowing that he's still pacing for 40 goals despite not having a great season. Imagine that. But guys, whatever it is, they're still neck and neck. Like it's not to say
The
that
last 2
Matthews now is
years,
out of the top 10, right?
yeah,
the
but Nick,
last 2 years, they're a lot closer. That's all we're saying.
yes, but
And technically, the last 2 years, Eichel's been better.
yeah, well, obviously you went to Vegas, who's stacked with teams.
Like
As much
Toronto was for the
Yeah, but
longest time.
He's still playing with
Yes,
Nylander.
don't
He
tell
still
me
has
no.
Tavares.
Don't compare Toronto with Vegas, guys. Come on, if you offensively, yes, forward wise, yes,
Toronto
but
was a Stanley Cup favorite for a very long time.
by who? The
Like,
Toronto media.
But they
No,
just
not
couldn't
just
get
the
over the
Toronto
hump.
media.
Vince, you put those four guys on any team, they're cup contenders. It's not because they were in
I'm
Toronto.
not. I never said they weren't cup contenders, but they're not. They were never
They were
ahead
Cup
of.
contenders.
But they were never ahead of Colorado. They were never ahead of. Like no one came out in the beginning of the year with Toronto. No one ever said Toronto is gonna win the cup. Whereas Vegas is almost every
Matthews has
year.
had a better career. He's also been surrounded by the better team for the longest time. Eichel had 6 years of Buffalo. You put Auston Matthews 6 years in Buffalo, let me tell you what his goal scorers would be.
Guys,
But
Toronto
from a
wasn't.
fantasy perspective, I don't think the team makes that much of a difference because
Well,
the
it does
GM
when-
built Vegas to win a cup. Toronto was not built to win a cup. They were built to have offense. It's two very different things. And if you look at their defensive pairings, that'll tell you everything you need to know about the difference between a cup contender and a pretender.
Yeah, except but that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I think it's ridiculous because Matthews has already shown that he's in the elites of the elites, and I think this comparison is just because he has the captaincy and now they
No,
didn't
it's the
see
last
him.
2 years. Vince, the last 2 years, they're neck and neck. That's it.
Nah, I take Matthews on my team anytime, any day over Eichel. But we
But
can
I just wanna
listen.
make it
It's a great debate, so we can ask. We can definitely make this our second question.
screw
of the day
that. Two
because
questions of the day.
It'd be very interesting to see what people think, especially our
But-
friends from Toronto.
I wanna make it be known that Nick and I we're not saying that Matthews fell off. We're just saying that Eichel might have leapfrogged him, but that doesn't mean that Matthews fell more than one spot. If that makes any sense.
I can't wait for all the stats people are going to bring out. This is going to be a fun question of the day.
It's the
finally,
Marner effect.
Yeah, Marner effect. It's not fair. Well, speaking of Marner and Team Canada, what is not fair is a line that consists of McKinnon, McDavid, and Celebrini. Like that's just, and then you have a power play that
Nasty.
consists of Makar, McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby, and like, I mean, this team, this Canada team is loaded, but when they played the McKinnon, McDavid, Celebrini line, like. What do you guys have to say? Like, how do you stop something like that? Joe?
You don't. You just hope you can contain them as much as possible. But I mean, this is going to be so bad. I'm going to get so much hate for this, but I think, and I'm 37 years old. in my lifetime that I can remember a Canadian team, this might be the best Canadian team I've ever seen in my life. And I know there was days where Lemieux and Gretzky were on the same team.
Yeah, but that was
But
before your day. So you said in your daytime, so it's
in
fine.
my
As long
days
as
that I can
in your-
remember. So let's say in the last 25 years, okay, I was 12 years old, which I was still watching Gretzky and Lemieux back then. But guys, that's how good they are. They're dominating on the ice. I know the opponents weren't great, which is why I'm looking forward to them playing, a Sweden or a Finland, a US or something like that. But it's so damn impressive, guys. The power play doesn't even make any sense
Do
when
not take a
s-
penalty.
when
Do
they
not take a
set
penalty against
when
Canada.
they set up. Literally today, I was watching the game when Makar scored, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, no problem. I'm gonna take away McDavid and I'm gonna take away McKinnon. Yeah, no problem." Makar went down the middle and wristed it in the net. Like it's absolutely ridiculous the amount of
pick your poison.
lethal options they have. It's pick your
Yeah.
poison. They have too many choices that you can't stop them. You just hope you can contain them. It's
Nick?
really impressive, and I'm really just glad that I get to watch it and enjoy it.
Nick.
There's not much to say here. I mean, Canada is shown. Look, I said USA and Sweden were going to be the finalists. That's because Canada always seems to choke against the Czechs. This year, though, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see. There's still time, and I think that if the Czechs win, I think we do play them
Yeah.
in the quarters. If Czechia beats Denmark,
Denmark,
that's going to be
yeah.
our opponent. So let's see if we get over that hump. If we get over that hump, everything else is gravy after that.
And
So,
you know what's funny is the one thing everybody's been saying is, I wouldn't want to face Dostal in an elimination game. Well, you might just have to. You
Yeah,
might just
but-
have to.
But like we're talking about McKinnon and McDavid here, but how impressive has Celebrini been for a 19-year-old? Like we thought this guy was gonna get fourth line minutes, and this guy is just getting first line minutes and is like just taking it in, and he's just ripping it apart in this term. It's ridiculous what he's doing for a 19-year-old. It's just unbelievable.
If
In a draft year that everybody said was a weak draft year. Imagine that.
if you were one of the ones that thought Bedard was better than Celebrini, this tournament,
Vince.
beyond all doubt,
I still think
not from fantasy perspective. I'm talking about
I
general
still-
as an
Fantasy-
NHL player.
fantasy
As an NHL player, Celebrini is by
fantasy-wise,
far
yes.
better.
But fantasy wise, I still think Bedard is gonna outpoint Celebrini.
not this year.
No, not this year. But when we look at their careers at the end of the year, at the end of their careers, Bedard will have more points than Celebrini. Celebrini
That's
might
another
have more.
question of the day. That's another question of the day.
Celebrini might have more Stanley Cups than Bedard, but Bedard will have more points than Celebrini.
Really?
That's a-
Even
Yeah,
after
I
what
think so.
Celebrini is doing with
He's on
nothing
pace,
on
guys.
his team.
He's on pace for
I'm-
121
Junior,
points this year.
it's not saying that
It's
I
a
don't think
second. It's a sophomore season.
I don't think
121
it's-
points.
I'm not saying Celebrini is not a 100-point player.
Jesus.
Celebrini could be 90 to 100-point players, but I just think Bedard, it's offensively, I think
Guys,
he's there. But I mean, once again, they're both Canadian, so we're going to see them both at the Olympics.
Bedard
Guys,
does have a
point in
sick
time.
shot.
everybody was talking about Bedard as being the next generational player. Nobody was talking about
No.
You're
Celebrini
right. You're
And-
right.
as
But that's
being
what's impressive.
the next
That's-
generational player, and
that-
that's why this is so freaking impressive.
Yes.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say he's even better than McKenna is going to be.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
though
but
I
McKenna
don't
was
think that's
McKenna was scheduled to
Yeah,
be
I
the
don't
next
think,
big thing on the best draft in so long.
I think
Strike.
McKenna is going to do well, but I know that
Maybe he'll be the Eichel to the Matthews.
Yeah, no, but the thing with Celebrini is basically if Celebrini and Bedard are both in the same draft, and you're not doing fantasy, you're starting an NHL team. I think all of us, hands down, are taking Celebrini over Bedard, first overall.
Yeah,
Probably.
he's won a lot of people over. I don't think
Exactly.
everybody knew this about Celebrini. I
No.
think he's won their respect.
I remember.
That's good. That's nice. To
I
see.
remember from the draft year that people were poo-pooing him a bit because he's a two-way player.
So we had a
Two-way
caca
center.
and a poo-pooing today on this podcast.
We don't
He's
have
a-
kids
he's
that are
a
under 5
two-way
years old.
player, right?
Yeah.
And so people automatically assume that because you're touted as a two-way player, that the offense just won't be there,
Mm,
especially in fantasy circles, right?
yeah.
And we do a draft live every single year on this podcast, right? We do a 4-hour episode every year for the draft. And I remember specifically the Celebrini year where listener Bamia, for example, was having doubts. Do I take Celebrini
Yeah.
or do I take the other guy because I don't really know what's going to happen with this two-way player.
The
Well,
other guy was
Vince is right there. We can ask him what he
I
thought
took yeah,
about Celebrini.
I took Demidov over Celebrini. It was to me it was just I went it was a fantasy draft, so I went with offense that was non-center, a winger. So it was what it is. But
It
before we
kind of
And
get
the
makes
this
me
position does
conversation,
change things
yeah,
too, right?
and
The
before
wingers
we
are more
get
wait,
valuable.
wait, wait,
more
wait.
conversation going, who's doing the
Wait, no, no,
draft
no. We're gonna
picks?
do a little more conversation here. Um, it just goes to show, though, right, that when you're drafting, you really don't know. You try to do the
Yeah,
best that you can with whatever information that is out there, but you really don't know what you're getting. That's why I feel like the draft is so cool every single year because following these players' careers afterwards, you could go back and like kind of say it. Like, for example, Schaefer, right?
mm-hmm.
All of us on this panel said, I love Schaefer, but it scares me that he only played 20 games in his draft year because he got injured the rest of the time. And, so we went out and we put all our eggs in the Misa basket. Um, Schaefer looks like a freaking star. Right off
Mm-hmm.
the bat, he looks like a freaking star. So again, it's just the draft is so much fun because following these kids' careers moving forward is doesn't matter what their stats say, they could become something different.
Guys, before we end this conversation, in redraft leagues, I know I'm gonna relate to Shay, your sister pool here. Celebrini went third round, 10th pick out of 12. So it's a league of 12 teams. He went third round, 10th pick.
Went to
Does
me,
he
no?
crack the top what? To
Did I
Tony.
pick him? Oh,
No,
Tony.
Tony. Listener Tony. Does he crack the top 10 next year?
Well, ideally he should. If he's gonna hit 120 points this year, how does he not crack the top 10? How does he
So
not crack the top
He's
five?
gotta hit top
he's going
five.
before guys like I'll name you the top 12 guys that went. Okay, McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Cooch, Makar, Kaprasov, Matthews, Pasternak, Quinn Hughes, Braden Point, Eichel, and Rantanen.
Yeah,
That was the first round, basically.
Yeah,
That was the first round, the first 12 picks in this draft, which is just basically goals and assists.
I think he goes
Nothing
before
else.
Makar.
he should go before Makar,
Before
100%.
Cap and Matthews and Pasternak.
Kaprasov maybe not because he can put up the 100 points also
So
before Matthews.
this year,
I
How
took
Matt?
Makar, by the way, at 5.
this year Matthews kind of scares me, right? So because you're kind of seeing this inconsistency a little bit from Matthews this year, I think he's going to be faded a little bit in drafts next year. I think Celebrini overtakes him next year in drafts. I
think
don't know if that's going to be the right decision though. in
I
the
think
end,
for
right?
sure he goes ahead of
If-
guys like Quinn Hughes, Point, Eichel, and Rantanen. Like he'll go
Yeah,
9, 10 in drafts.
He'll go before
Uh,
Eichel.
yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's justified, but I think he'll go.
Who's doing the sponsorship?
Here, I'll do it. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have it open here.
It's okay. I updated on our sheet here. I added the. All right, here we go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. The Olympics are not over just yet. In fact, the play-in rounds are just around the corner. Now's your time to choose an upset, choose a favorite, whatever you want. Now's the time to do it. And new customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Excuse me. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved.
All right, boys. So to end the episode, we'll just have a little discussion. Our friend Roger from the Bush League Huddle podcast uh, made a little trade proposal asking us to see what we thought of it. If it would go like this: straight up trade, 1-for-1. Tage Thompson for Jack Hughes.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
No, it
So
is
just to be clear, Roger actually received this trade proposal,
oh,
and
okay.
he sent it to Junior and I to review for him to kind of get our thoughts on it. Although I think he was already leaning that way, anyways, for the final outcome. But he received an offer. Jack Hughes was being sent to him for his Tage Thompson. It's a 1 year redraft league, by the way. So we thought we'd bring it up here because it could be an interesting conversation.
A 1 year salary cap or no salary cap?
Good
No cap.
question.
No
Good
cap as
question.
far
See,
as we
that's how I
know.
know you're paying attention. No
No
cap.
cap?
No cap.
Okay.
Mind you, they're
Goals
pretty
of
similar anyway. They're $1 million apart.
yeah, goals and goals more important, like always.
Yeah, it's like they count a bit of everything. Hits,
It's a
shots.
categories league.
It's a
Okay.
categories league.
Okay, so let's hear it one by one. Jewel, go first. What's your opinion?
My initial opinion was keep Thompson. Don't go for the pretty name in Jack Hughes. A, we don't know if he can stay healthy. B, Tage Thompson scores more goals. He's on a heater, so this looks like it's going to be one of his best years. Not quite a career year, but one of his best years. The team is doing well, so there's nothing to be worried about there. And he's a shooting machine on top of that. So at worst, they're more or less the same this year. So why trade a Tage Thompson to go get something like Jack Hughes, who, let's be honest, his lineman could sneeze and he might fall and hit the boards and be out for a couple of months.
Well, I
Wow.
mean, to that point, Jack Hughes so far this year has played 36 games, whereas Thompson has played 21 games more than him, and he's already at 30 goals for this season, like Junior alluded to before. You know, Jack might be the prettier name, I guess, but the fact of the matter is that he just doesn't have the consistency due to his injury history. And with Tage Thompson, his team is actually seems to have turned a corner, right? Buffalo all of a sudden is producing again. They're starting to win games. They're starting to believe again. And that's kind of dangerous if you are not an owner of Tage Thompson, because now this guy's putting up points. He's putting up goals. He's on pace for 85 goals 85 points this year. On pace for more than 40 goals again, second year in a row, by the way. So I just love how Tage Thompson is actually performing here. He's 28 years old to Jack Hughes is 24, but it's a redraft league, so you don't care about the age
Hmm.
in the end, right? So if you take the age factor out of it and you take away the name factor because people love the Hughes brothers out of it, fact is that Buffalo's a better team right now than New Jersey, like it or not. And Tage Thompson is a better player right now and more healthy and more consistent player right now than Jack Hughes.
Yeah, and
So
especially that it's a category league. Thompson's peripherals are so much better than Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes has like 3 hits in 36 games,
Mm.
and just to give you an idea,
he might break something.
Thompson Thompson has 54 hits in 57 games. It's like a hit a game, so it's better than 0.01 hits a game. Vince, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd stick with Jack. Sorry, I'd stick with H. Thompson. I mean, the biggest thing with Jack Hughes is just his
Availability.
yeah. So I mean, his injury history is just too long for to be ignored. So I would go with H. Thompson. And for you, Nick, who says that everybody likes the Quinn brothers, well, I would differ because
Hughes-
New
the
Jersey,
Hughes brothers.
the Hughes brothers. I would differ because the New Jersey Devils tried to Photoshop him out of a picture with the Tkachuk brothers, but forgot his legs in the picture. So
That's true. I'm just trying to check if are they both center wing eligible?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so that doesn't change anything either. That's actually pretty important that they're both able to do that. Wow, that was a fun episode, guys.
That was
Nick,
fun. Lots of energy.
Nick, when
Yeah, go
when
for
a man opens a car door for his wife, what does that mean?
He's trying to get some.
He's a gentleman.
It's either a new car or a new wife.
That one was decent. That one was decent, Vince.
Beautiful.
Guys, please like, subscribe, hit that freaking bell button, and make us feel better about ourselves. If you listen this long, I mean, come on.
And we're gonna post those questions of the day, guys. And we want to know what you have to say about it. Because let's face it, we have our opinions, but we want to know what you have to say. And
Four
that's
more
on X,
subscribers.
Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok at Partial Break Pod.
And YouTube quiz.
4 more subscribers and Nick skates naked on the ice rink in the backyard.
This guy.
Have a good night, peeps.
We'll see you on our midweek show.